Hello guys, it's interesting weather predictions here. So we're gonna be going in depth about the severe weather potential over the next few days. But first off, we need to look at the current map. So we have red flag warnings in these areas in yellow currently. We have a winter storm advisories, warnings, and watches in here, with blizzard warnings in this second area here. Flash flooding is likely to occur across somewhere in here. So let's get into this. So day one, we're expecting severe weather along a warm front in Texas with widespread flash flooding possible. And then the snowstorm. Day two, we're expecting blizzard conditions across some areas, along with a pretty major severe weather threat. Day three, a small severe weather threat for the Mississippi River Delta. And then on here's our map. So we're expecting severe weather in these red areas right in here. These dark red areas, we're expecting severe storms. Again, we're expecting more tonight. Then we're expecting some showers and then a line of thunderstorms with all hazards at this point right in here. Sunday, we're expecting some. At this point on Sunday, we're probably going to be talking about a risk for isolated wind gusts, maybe some large hail, and at this point, we'll probably be talking about a risk for a brief tornado, some winds and hail in that area. Maybe a bit further south. Monday, severe threat does exist into the Dixie Alley area, as well as on Tuesday, we have a threat across Dixie Alley again, and Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, it's going to go out to sea. Rain potential over the next 7 days will likely be high across these areas, and some of this could be snow values. We'll have to see. Excessive rain, we have a slight risk for days 1 and 2 with a marginal for day 3. Day 1, we have a slight risk for severe weather, and we'll be getting a tornado watch soon. On day 1 here, we have a 5% risk of tornadoes, 15 risk of wind, and a 15 risk of hail, SIG as well. So we're expecting to see some very large hail across this area and this light, along with supercells. So that's going to be your storm mode today. Now, this is the big day tomorrow. We currently have a 10% risk of tornadoes with an enhanced risk widespread across this area. I would not be surprised if this would get expanded westward, because we're starting to get more of a westward trend in the risk again. That's been trending westward and westward, so we'll have to watch that. Wind is a 15%, hail is a 30% SIG, and if you do go down here, SPC mentions potential for a moderate risk right in here, so we could end up seeing a moderate risk if morning convection does not become a problem. But for now, they opted with a 10 SIG tornado, 15 wind, and 30 SIG hail, and I would not be surprised to see that wind go up to maybe 30. Day 3, this is going to be a very localized risk across Greenville, Mississippi, up to Memphis, and probably a bit further south as well. We'll have to watch. And then day 4, we have potential too low, but this period, I think we're probably going to see some sort of risk area for day 5 and 6, but we're mainly going to be talking about the days 1 through 3 in this. So let's first start off by looking at Weather Bell here. We'll look at the Euro model, and this is mainly going to be only for the Southern Plains, so we're going to zoom down into the Southern Plains, if it's down here, the south central region of the United States. We're going to zoom down into here. So let's zoom down into here. Let's look at your instantaneous flash rate. So, in a little bit here, we're expecting a lot of thunderstorms to initiate, and this is right around 21Z right now. We really I don't think we've really seen that yet. Let me go into GR2 and show you the current thunderstorms. We have a lot in Kansas in that area, but I want to see. So you currently have 59 dues by Childress, which a lot of chasers are targeting that area today. Oh, we have a developing thunder shower right in this area. It's starting to develop. We also have a thunderstorm right here that's really kicking off. It's got a meso indicator for some hail with it. Up by the radar site, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, that might go severe horn. We'll just have to watch it, but that's currently what's happening there. But see, your lightning density rate is expected to really rise, and we're expecting to see a supercell form somewhere in this area. The gyro indicates it forming right in here, powering through with some very heavy lightning rates and probably some potential tornadoes. Then it shows that moving off north. The year does show some ring convection, and then boom, a line of supercells will form that will consolidate into a quasi-linear convective system. It moves eastbound, weakens a lot, kind of reforms on the next day, and then weakens again, reforms on Monday, and then moves across Dixie. We start to see a bit of a risk for thunderstorms down there, and then a big QLCS that forms in the southern plains that really pushes eastward. And actually, the Euro's supposed to be getting thunderstorms, so let's look at the surface cape as well. We're going to look at this further out. We're not looking at this for this upcoming event because it's not going to be accurate enough, I feel like. So the Euro is showing a bit of a cold core event happening in the Midwest. And then it shows, holy cow, it shows 2,000 joules per kilogram of cape, and then it does have enough instability up here, so we'll have to see what happens with that. But yeah, now let's look into the RAP model on College of Dupage. Let me reload this because this is pretty old data. We're going to look at the RAP here. We'll look at the 15Z run. We're mainly going to be taking a look at tomorrow, but we will take a bit of a look at today as well. So the RAP has ended up showing the RAP. Don't really trust the storm. I'll just look to see where it has the storms. So the RAP tomorrow has a pretty strong area of thunderstorms developing, pushing through. Tonight it shows storms kind of kicking off pretty soon, actually. So we'll have to watch that. Here's a forecast sounding at 0Z, probably east of Lubbock, Texas. If I would have to guess a location, you can see here the shear isn't that favorable, but that's enough this time of the year, especially with decent instability. It's not great. I know there's better soundings out there. We'll look at the HRRR on this. Here's 0Z with the 20Z run. So the models have been showing storm initiation being further to the west now, and a little bit later. And actually, that's our storm initiation in Texas or New Mexico, I believe. Yeah, that's our storm initiation over there, and that's going to kick off, and we'll really start to see a risk at around 2Z really start to fire up here. Here's what the HRRR is showing for a forecast sounding. It's going to, okay, I got to get it a bit further to the east because that was a bit too contaminated. Okay, further to the east, we do have a cap inversion, but other than that, the storm's already pretty much broke the cap. We only have marginal instability with the HRRR now, so the best areas, it's really going to have to take advantage of wherever it goes. Southeastern Oklahoma has a local ice environment with a lot higher instability. Let's see here, 5Z is about when those storms hit that area. Let's see what we get in this environment here. It's actually not terrible, but the instability goes away. So today's risk might not be as great. Now, I know I shouldn't be using HRRR for today, but I am, so I'm breaking that rule. But let's move on to the 18Z HRRR run and really focus in on tomorrow. So this is around, let's start off with around 19Z. At this point, we're starting to see our convection kind of bubble a little bit. We start to see a bit of helicity tracks kind of right here start to fire up on the southern side of this line of thunderstorms that forms. If we do end up taking a sounding at 19Z, we do end up seeing a pretty favorable environment for wind, hail, and tornadoes, especially hail and tornadoes at this point. Very well organized photograph with good instability right here and pretty decent lapse rates. If we do take a look at 20Z, we start to see more of supercells start to form. If we take one out in front of a developing supercell, you get 250 SRH with 2,500 cape and amazing lapse rates. That is not a good. That's not a good sign if you live in Texas. Really need to watch this. 21Z, we start to see our supercells really go off. At this point, this is a bit contaminated, but it is in front of the storm. We see good instability coupled with good shear. We go along to right about here, in front of these supercells. We end up seeing a very well organized photograph here. A lot of low-level veering, which will create supercells. Now, one problem that I do see is that this could grow upscale into a QLCS within a couple of hours, but in that couple-hour window, we could be talking about some pretty interesting stuff happening. This is a bit weird. And even if it's a QLCS, we'll still get tornadoes out of that, wind and hail, because of the environment. But at this point, man, oh man, the sounding screams tornadic potential and strong tornadoes to me. At this point, we start to see more thunderstorms form. Whoa, that is right near that storm. We have 800 SRH at 3 kilometers. That screams tornado potential, along with 1,000 Cape. That is something that you never want to see. And yeah, I took that right where that raging supercell is, and that's got an amazing environment with a lot of low-level veering as well. Now, 23Z, we start to see the storm more grow into upscale. We will probably still see some embedded supercells at this point. Look at that photograph. Whoa. Still favorable. Further down south the line, it's a bit more cap, but yet again, still favorable. A bit back behind, we start to see some supercells form. Now, that environment isn't... Actually, that environment's still pretty good. As we go into 0Z here, we still have a raging cell up here. Let's take a sounding right there. Actually, I gotta take it further out in front of it. So what about right there? That's still not bad, but it's not as great of an environment. If I do take a sounding right here in north central Texas, yeah, we definitely still have a favorable environment. This is contaminated, so I probably should take a sounding somewhere a bit further out, maybe like in here. And maybe that won't be contaminated. It's still a bit contaminated, but it's not as bad. We do have a lot less favorable low-level lapse rates as your daylight heating goes away, but we'll still have potential for wind gusts, isolated large hail, and tornadoes. At 1Z, we start to see our line really get consolidated within this area. And we start to see a damaging wind risk really start to take shape, and large hail risk starts to decrease, along with the tornado threat. Now, it's still there, but it's not as high. 2Z, we really start to see that large hail threat really decrease unless you have an embedded supercell on the line, which right here's a good example of that with the HRR. Still indicating an embedded supercell with a good updraft. Now, at this point, we'll likely see QLCS-affiliated stuff, though. 3Z, this is when your tornado threat's really going to start to die out as this becomes more of a line. We probably will still see isolated potential, though, for that kind of stuff. I'm going to tomorrow. We see a weakening on our thunderstorms. That doesn't look very good. So, yeah, I think that's going to do it for this one. Let's show my outlook here. And then that'll do it. I guess I gotta go into the here and show you my outlook because it doesn't want to load, but here's my severe weather outlook here. So I ended up going enhanced last night for a large area in here. I'll probably have to move the enhanced a bit further to the west. Large area of an enhanced risk. I ended up going 10% significant risk for tornadoes, and then I also went large hail. I actually went 30 sig as well, with a large area of 15 sig risk of hail. Now I might have to decrease that with the new guidance coming in. I also ended up going with a 15% risk of damaging wind gusts. And then here is my severe weather outlook for. Oh no, that's the first one. Here's my outlook for March 12th, which is today. I made this last night, so I went slight risk, a pretty large one, from Oklahoma City all the way into eastern New Mexico. I ended up going with a 15% risk of damaging wind across a small area. I also ended up going with a 15 significant risk of large hail across a large area, and I ended up going with a decently small 5% risk of tornadoes from just south of Elk City all the way into eastern Mexico. That'll do it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.